I do? Hey guys, welcome back to the Bald Shredder channel, and if this guitar looks familiar, that's because it's not new. This is actually my very first custom guitar from IYV. First of several. In fact, right now, they're in the middle of working on my next custom order. But this was the first one, and I've been thinking about this for quite a long time. I wanted to do some upgrades to it to see if I could make it even more awesome than it already is. And before I tell you what those upgrades are, guys, if you could just do me a favor real quick, if you are not currently subscribed to me, the Bald Shredder, if you could just reach down and hit that subscribe button, that would be totally awesome. Okay, so the 4 upgrades, guys. New pickups, new strings. You might be thinking, new strings, how's that an upgrade? Well, I'll get to that in a second. String trees, and a new volume pot. Let's talk about the pickups first. I just was not overly impressed with the stock pickups that came with it from IYV. And so I decided to install 2 high output Alnico 5 humbuckers from Musiclily. And these are the same exact pickups that I have in one of my other IYV custom guitars. Talking about this one, guys, this one right here, my Racer X inspired guitar. You might remember seeing this one. And I even did a separate video for this where I did a blind pickup test comparing these pickups with Seymour Duncan pickups. And people were really surprised. A lot of people felt that these pickups sounded better than the Seymour Duncans. They've got the output that I want. The bridge pickup is like 16K and the neck pickup is like 7.5K, which is perfect for me. Oh, and on top of that, extremely affordable. You can buy the set, guys, both pickups for $32 on Amazon. And yes, I'm gonna have links for this stuff down in the video description for anything you want to check out. Okay, so the strings. I mean, how is changing the strings an upgrade? Well, if you're changing from 9-gauge strings to 8-gauge strings, and you've never tried 8-gauge strings before in your life, well, that could be considered an upgrade. And for those of you that don't know, recently I became an official artist for S.I.T strings. I'm even on their website now. So, when I ordered some strings from them recently, I ordered 1 pack of the 8-gauge ultralight because I've never tried 8-gauge strings before and I'm really curious. And I've also read that one of my favorites, Paul Gilbert, he now uses 8-gauge strings. So these strings are now on here. Okay, the next thing, guys, the string trees. Now, when I first got this, I got it from IYV. It only had 1 string tree, and it was just that very, basic, inexpensive, sort of the little butterfly looking one. And for this kind of thing going on here, it's not tilted back, so you need string trees. There's no whammy bar on it. I always like to have 2 string trees, and I thought if I'm gonna add a second string tree, then I'm gonna put like maybe a little bit better string trees. So I put these sort of like barrel style string trees, and I just think it looks a whole lot better. I don't know if it improves anything like the tuning stability or whatever, but it just looks better. And then the last thing is that, like with a lot of budget guitars from overseas, you get the pots that are those really small dime-sized pots. So I figured since I am putting the new pickups in there anyway, having to unsolder and resolder stuff, I might as well replace that small dime-sized pot with a full-size pot. So I did that as well. All right, so now after having made those 4 changes, what does it play like? What does it sound like? Well, we're about to find out. Check it out. Okay, so as I already knew, the pickups sound great. Now, what I like about these pickups is, of course, the amount of power, the amount of output, and I can play the kind of licks that I want to do and get those squeals and those harmonics and stuff. But the pickups are bright, but yet at the same time, they've got a warmth to them. Like, they're not overly bright, you know? There's kind of a bottom end, but there's also a brightness. I think it's a good balance that I can really get a good tone out of them. And not only great on the crunchy and the shredding and the metal stuff, but also a really good clean tone. And by the way, guys, when I have two humbuckers, just about all the time, when I'm doing clean stuff, I put it in that middle position because that seems to be best for me. So the strings sound great. They've got that brightness, that crispy sound that I really like and need for my 80s shred kind of stuff. But I gotta say, guys, I'm not sure that I notice a huge difference between the 9 gauge and the 8 gauge, at least not as much as I was expecting. Because when I play a guitar with 10 gauge strings, which again is only 1 gauge up from 9, right? Usually I'm using 9 gauge. That's been my preferred gauge like forever. And when I get a guitar that comes in and it's got 10 gauge strings on it, which happens quite a lot, and I grab it and I start to play it, I instantly notice that the strings are heavier, larger than 9 gauge. Even it's just 1 gauge up, I notice it right away, and I don't like it. So I thought, wow, there's a huge difference between 9 gauge and 10 gauge, and I should expect to also notice a huge difference between 9 gauge and 8 gauge. But not really like a huge difference, a small difference. I can notice, but it's not as big a difference as, you know, going from the 9s to the 10s, if that makes sense. And I just think that's because when you go heavier, that's when you're really gonna notice it, because it's harder to do those bends and you can just feel the thickness, it just feels heavier. And when you go a little bit lighter, it's like, well, you're not struggling more to play. It's about the same or maybe slightly easier, so that's why you don't tell the difference as much. But honestly, guys, I think going forward, I won't be ordering 9 gauge strings anymore. So it still sounds great, they still play great, so why not give my fingers a little bit of a break there with the size of the strings? And I think I'll be going with the 8 gauge from now on when I order more strings. Now, for anybody that is interested in talking to IYV or about possibly placing a custom order, I'm gonna have their email, their contact email. It's Mr. Doe, he's at the company. He's the guy that you talk to at the company. He's the guy that I talk to. He's the guy that everybody talks to about placing a custom order. So send him an email, tell him what you're looking to have made, tell him the bald shredder sent you, and then you'll get the process going from there. And as a little extra added bonus, guys, remember this guitar also has the Musiclily pickups. It's also an IYV custom. I'm gonna throw in the jam, the original song that I wrote and did on this guitar in that original video. I'm gonna put it in here for you guys to see again, and for those of you that never saw it. And this song features a guest appearance from my buddy Lester Mitchell, and this song is also on my latest album, Dawn of the Shredder. And if you look down in the video description, there's also a link to my eBay store, and that's where you can buy my CDs if you're interested. Wow, a lot of links for this video. Alright guys, so here comes the jam. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.